What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Keeping Up with KP, Ask the Amateur. I am 3 weeks out tomorrow, and so little announcement. I know I've been doing my 2 series, Keeping Up with KP, my prep updates, and then my Ask the Amateur series, where I answer the questions that I get asked most as an aspiring IFBB bikini pro, right? So I've been doing 2 episodes a week. So nearing show, I have decided to consolidate these series. And so I'm going to be answering a question today, but I'm also going to be sharing a little bit of a prep update and what is relevant in my life in the journey right now. My top priority is bringing you guys the most value out of these episodes. And so I would rather do less and give you more, because that is what I have the capacity for at this point in time. So I just wanted to share that little update on what you can expect in the coming weeks going into show number 1, show number 2, the season ahead. So in today's episode, Ask the Amateur, I am answering how I deal with cravings. And you guys, this is just gonna be a raw and real conversation. I've been calling these my kitchen counter talks because that's exactly what it is. So in real time, 3 weeks out tomorrow, today is a high day. I am on day 2 of 2 consecutive high days. This is a strategy we have been implementing time and time again this prep. And I have learned so much from every single one. But every single time we implement this, it makes me reflect on the journey and my relationship with food and with cravings. And I get asked this all of the time, how I deal with cravings. And so I'm going to tell you point blank, and this is probably going to be annoying to a lot of people, but I don't deal with cravings because I don't have cravings. This is coming from the girl who used to be at the mercy of food. I used to be at the mercy of my cravings. After a lot of self-reflection and a lot of work, I have narrowed it down to the 4 reasons why that is, and I'm going to share that with you today. I'm going to take this from a couple different angles because I am an athlete, I am a coach, I am just a girl. And this started at the beginning of my health, wellness, and fitness journey, my relationship with food, my relationship with cravings, being at the mercy of cravings. And it's because at the start, I wasn't eating balanced meals. I didn't know what enough was, what enough looked like, what enough felt like. And when you are underfueled or eating inconsistently or eating inconsistent amounts and your blood sugar is off, like this leads to cravings. So number 1 is the structure. Knowing what enough looks like, feels like, is like, helps a tremendous amount with cravings. That's the foundation. That helped with cravings initially, but once you have that structure, then what foods are you putting into that structure? So if you're somebody that has no idea how much you should be eating, you are inconsistent, you couldn't even tell me what you ate for breakfast, that is where you want to start, is getting a structure, getting consistent. But then the step up from that is the ingredients. So what you're plugging into this structure. And so for me personally, in the journey, over time, even in my preps, I always had a lot of cravings, and I never really knew why until this season. Because as I've mentioned throughout this entire series, how serious I took my improvement season, how serious I'm taking this prep. When your inputs are primarily whole foods, that also reduces cravings largely. So eating enough of the right things. But then the step further, and I only know this because of my gut reset, you guys, is all of the added fluff. That is the reason I don't have cravings, because I eliminated sauces, spices, stevia, and that is it. When you are putting things into your body designed by somebody whose job is to make that food the most addictive thing in the world, you are putting things in your body that are designed to make you want to come back for more. Of course, it is going to make you want to come back for more. And it's really confusing because I remember when I got into bodybuilding, and so going from my diet being mostly processed foods to having this structure and then eating more whole foods, and like the whole mindset was like, wow, this is so restrictive. But then suddenly I started looking better. And then suddenly I started feeling better. And then suddenly my mindset around food started to change. And it's really just a snowball effect. Once you get yourself to that point, it's really hard to come back. And a perfect example, because I'm currently making my pre-workout meal. So there are very few things in my diet that are processed. The only thing is cream of rice. This is my pre-workout carb and I love it. However, when I eat it, it does not make me like want to come back for more. I have tried several brands of cream of rice, and as I have cleaned up my diet, I have removed gums and fillers and all of the shit, because starting out as a bodybuilder, I think we all make the mistake of filling our macros with shit. These highly processed foods that destroy our gut, that make us want to come back for more and more and more. And a perfect example is like the Walden Farms syrups. If you haven't been that athlete, if you haven't went down that rabbit hole, good for you. I urge you not to. Unfortunately, I did. And for where I'm at now, it's really hard for me to watch. And it's not just that. It's all of these high protein desserts where people are putting like Jello mixes and this and that to like make their food fun. And I think you can do that. You can have that, but be careful, because all of these foods, you guys, are made by somebody in a lab whose job is to make these foods the most addictive thing in the world. So it is going to make you want to come back for more. And so when these are your inputs, of course you're gonna have cravings. Back to the story. So I have tried several brands of cream of rice, and as I've cleaned up my diet, I have noticed that I'm very sensitive to gums and fillers. So like xanthan gum, guar gum, all of the gums that improve texture in a lot of fitness foods, but just also a lot of foods in general. So if you think of pudding mix, like that creamy, smooth texture, that's xanthan gum. Same with protein shakes that are super velvety almost, okay? So cream of rice, there are a lot of cream of rices with xanthan gum in it. But I entered a giveaway because there's a new brand that came out with a cream of rice that I was so excited about, and I won this giveaway, and I was really excited to do a taste test on it. However, when I got it, it has xanthan gum in it. So I made a bowl to test it out for Ryan, but I could tell immediately as I started stirring it, like, it would be a no-go for me. It makes me so bloated. And that is the thing with cleaning up your diet, you guys, is that you can't come back from it. A great way to test this out is to like eat a sweet potato, eat a banana, eat a piece of fruit. And if it does not taste sweet to you, if it tastes like it needs sugar on it or stevia on it or something on it to make it taste better, that is a good indication you need a gut reset. You need a palate reset. Your taste buds have been hijacked by the food industry. It's the reality. Because once I had the realization that I was at the mercy of my cravings because of my inputs, it all made sense. Until you connect those dots, you think it's a willpower issue. You think it's a you problem. And the reality is it's not. It's somebody being excellent at their job. And it's confusing as an individual because that is what is perceived as normal. Eating these foods, having a flat tummy, but like eating xanthan gum. I'm very sensitive. Not everybody's sensitive. There's girls out there eating this with the flattest stomach in the world. I will also tell you, I have followed people that eat that way and do these things. If you continue following their journey, they will suddenly have gut problems and they'll have a whole GI journey because these things catch up with you. What you put into your body catches up with you. And I'm telling you that because it caught up with me. But with this, unfortunately, it's no go for me. I'm not gonna do it to myself because I already know it's gonna happen. And it's weird too because I really used to prefer this texture. And once you stop having it and you see it and you feel it and you know what it's gonna do for you, you don't even want it. And so I am not knocking this brand. I'm just telling you, like, those ingredients don't work for me. Excitingly, this is the brand I have always used. I just got a restock of Pride Foods Rice and Grinds. This is the only brand that I know of that doesn't have any gums in it. And the texture is different. It's an adjustment if you're used to the other stuff, but Oh my gosh, it digests so much better. It is literally just granulated white rice, pink Himalayan salt, cinnamon, and then stevia. That's it. My favorite combo is the brown sugar cinnamon and the churro. The churro does have sucralose in it also, but both stevia and sucralose in small amounts do not bother me. So I do half and half. Today, with my high day, I get 80 grams. So I did 40 of each in here. So yesterday's high day was lower than today's high day. And we've been running these 2 consecutive refeeds for I think this is our 3rd or 4th time now, and everyone has been slightly different. And I started doing my gut reset before all of them so that I'm not backed up, I'm not bloated going into my refeed, because when you use these strategies, you want to get clear feedback from it. You want to see how that food is going to translate into your physique. That's the other problem, is people are using food for more than what it needs to be used for. If you are using food for pleasure and you're finding ways to make your food more pleasurable, then yes, of course, it is going to drive more cravings, inevitably. Before bodybuilding, I went to food for most of the pleasure in my life. I used food to comfort myself, to soothe myself, to entertain myself. And so cravings are driven by a few different things: by the structure, by the ingredients, by the intent, what you're using it for. And so when people ask me how I deal with cravings, it's kind of a loaded question, because food is never just about the food. And cravings can be driven by a number of different things. So I think it's first important to get clear on what is driving your cravings. And I have these conversations on a weekly basis with the clients that I coach. And so I always ask, what is driving this? What are your specific cravings? Are you feeling restricted because you're trying to connect with your significant other, your family, social events? Maybe it's emotional, maybe it's stress. We use food for so many different things. And it doesn't help that anytime we get on social media, there's a new food trend, or our favorite brand comes out with a new product, or our favorite influencer is making a new recipe. The food noise is everywhere, you guys. And so for me, again, where I'm at in the journey, I don't have cravings. I don't have cravings because my food is the highest it's ever been in a competition prep. It's the highest it had ever been in my improvement season, because I wasn't falling off every weekend. I wasn't playing catch up and cleanup. I was able to get myself a very strong foundation all of the time, where my inputs are consistent. I wasn't reaching for constant variety in my diet. I wasn't using food to entertain myself. I wasn't using food for pleasure. I wasn't using food to connect with my husband, because that used to be a way we connected, was by eating and drinking food that made us feel like shit. And I'm not saying food shouldn't be used to connect over, but I'm saying it gets a little damaging when that is the core of your relationship. And truthfully, I think that's how a lot of relationships start. That's how ours did. We went out for drinks. We went out to eat. And not just with significant others, with friends, with family members. And we don't want to take up the space to say, that doesn't really serve me right now. And so again, this is a very loaded topic, but you have to get clear on what is driving that craving. Once you get clear on what is driving that craving, you can take your power back real quickly. But you have to be ready to hold yourself to that higher standard. And so a great example for me is, I love my protein powder, you guys. I don't love being bloated. And I have found time and time again, especially when I'm implementing high days, it makes me bloated. And so I opt for chicken instead. And I think you have to get clear on what the cost is. So for me, it got to the point where it wasn't worth implementing these strategies and not getting clear feedback because I'm bloated. This is a high day. The whole point is to see what my body looks like with more food. But if I'm putting inputs in me that I know are just going to cause an added layer of frustration, then what's the point? So much of it is just owning the experience, you guys, and understanding it. And I'm not here to normalize it, but I'm here to talk about it and say, hey, I've been there. Let me show you the way. Because what I hear often when people find out I'm a competitor, especially in regards to food, is they're like, oh, I could never. I don't know how you do it. It's so restrictive. What I've had to come to terms with, and what I was talking about a lot in my last episode, is chosen suffering. We are all living with chosen suffering. And for some, this might seem like suffering. Eating this way, eating the same things every single day. If you told me 6 years ago I would be eating like this, I would say there was no way. But over time, the price I was paying for being at war in my mind and in my body, because of the inconsistency, because of the inputs that I was choosing, because of the way I was using food to connect and to cope and to manage my stress, all of these things were driving my cravings. And it would drive me to the point where I felt so out of control that, like I said in the beginning of this episode, I was at the mercy of food. When I would give in, I was at war with myself constantly. I was dishonest with myself. I was dishonest with my coach. It was affecting me mentally. It was affecting me physically. But it is something that I was choosing. It was my chosen suffering. I was choosing to suffer that way. I was choosing to remain ignorant to the things that I knew were in the way of my health, wellness, and fitness goals. And so I started searching for a diagnosis and trying to figure out what foods I was sensitive to, blaming it on my gut, blaming it on being sensitive. And the reality is that is not the reality. Your cravings are driven by lack of structure, what your inputs are, and how you're using food. This is the best relationship I have ever had in my mind and my body. I literally have no cravings. I'm not saying you can't have variety and flexibility in your diet, but I think just having that self-awareness is huge. And I was able to find that self-awareness in my last improvement season. I remember very distinctly having Drizzlicious after my last show, and it was like a flip switched. Something chemical happens in your brain, and just like a very vivid memory. You guys, like, this is a prime example of being at the mercy of food. Full disclosure is, if you know, like those heavenly hunks, 2 improvement seasons ago, I was at the fucking mercy of those heavenly hunks. I would lay in bed at night. I couldn't sleep because I was thinking about them. There is no worse feeling than feeling like you don't have control over yourself and your cravings. And when that's a constant in your diet, you don't even realize it. You don't even realize what is driving it. But when you remove yourself, when you do the work, and then you introduce these things, you are way more cognizant of how these things affect you. And so just like being open and being able to talk about these things, like me and my husband talk about it all of the time. I'm just sharing this because if I can go from the girl who is at the mercy of food, and my life and my relationships all revolved around self-destruction when it came to what I was putting inside of my body. And my life has completely changed. Just so much value in taking your power back. So that's where I'm at in the journey. That's where I'm at in this prep. That is how I deal with my cravings. But it is also my life's mission to help people master themselves and master their cravings, so they're not at the mercy of food. I create systems that save me from me, and I share them with you. And my gut reset has changed everything this prep. This is for lifestyle. This is for competitors. This is for literally anybody. Because I coach individuals through all of this. Anybody that wants to be held to a higher standard, that wants better for themselves, I'm here to help. But you have to want it for yourself, and you have to understand action is required, and you have to understand it is going to be uncomfortable. Anytime you are expanding as a human and making change, it is going to be uncomfortable. Growth is going to be uncomfortable. But you have to decide what is more uncomfortable, changing or staying the same. Wherever you're at in your health, wellness, and fitness journey, cravings are going to be a part of it, but they don't have to control your life. So get very honest with yourself. What is driving these cravings? Once you're clear on that, then you have to do the work. But the great news is I create systems that save me from me, and I share them with you. First thing I recommend is doing my gut reset. So comment below if you want my gut reset. But for me, where I'm at in the journey, I don't deal with cravings because I don't have them. Because I know what enough looks like. I know what enough feels like. I have done the work, and it was hard as shit, but I continue to do the work on a daily basis because I never want to be at the mercy of food again. In time and place, live your life, enjoy the food. But when you are in control, when you control food and food doesn't control you, it makes the life experience so much better, you guys. So all that to say, I need to get this in. I need to go train. I am 3 weeks out tomorrow, and this is how I deal with cravings. If you liked this episode, make sure to like this episode. If anything resonated with you, make sure you comment below. Please make sure to subscribe and let me know what you guys want me to answer next week. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Ask the Amateur. Thank you for keeping up with me. Thank you for all of the support. And don't forget, I'm answering your questions until I earn my title. So that is all I've got for you guys today, and I will see you in the next one.